Happy Friday, hashtag my global family. This is Drea Beta, coyote walking in this world of real life, a Sleto Public superhero, proud two-spirit indigenous warrior. And this is a monumental moment in our lives, family. The love of my life and I are launching our very first power couple, indigenous power couple family podcast. Love, why don't you tell us about our new show to our wonderful global family?
It is Eating, Drinking, and Smoking with Drea and Nia.
I love it, family. It is going to be a great time. The love of my life and I are starting our new Patreon family. So please, if you want to support our work, if you believe in what this coyote is doing to try to transform this world, if you like the material that we'll be sharing with you every single week, we're going to have a free episode, family, and then we're going to have exclusive bonus material for our wonderful patrons. Let's go ahead and get started today. And this is definitely a labor of love, family. So thank you so much to everyone who's helping us make this possible. A special huge thank you to Love of My Life, Neil, who is in this with me, family. We are in it to win it. This coyote is a true zealot and a true believer that I am on a mission from my ancestors to transform this world. And the love of my life is there every step of the way. So that's one of our favorite pictures. You know that this coyote is a vlogger with over 23,000 followers. And this is part of my critical race, indigenous, whiteness, intersectional doctoral vlogging project. And today, our episode, baby, what is the theme of our episode today?
It is R.I.P. Roe v. Wade.
Woo! It's going to be a very riveting discussion, family. We can't wait to get started. And let's go ahead and give you the rundown on what you'll be getting if you join us as one of our amazing followers on Patreon. Again, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. You'll be getting 4 exclusive segments with us, family. The first one is Whet Your Appetite. We're going to be doing our introductions. We'll be learning more as we go along with your amazing host, this coyote, and my amazing love of my life, Neil. In addition, family, you will get to meet one of our amazing superhero friends from around the world in our weekly guests, as well as exploring a new weekly theme. Tell us more about our second segment, love.
Okay, so for our second segment, we are having, it is a little looser here tonight for our second segment. We have
but what is it called, babe?
Oh, it is called Whet Your Appetite.
No. I'm sorry, babe. This is our very first podcast, family. You are here for our inaugural taping ever. So the second segment that the love of my life is going to be sharing with us is called Excellent Eats and Drinks with Neil. And you know, family, this coyote has been raving about all of his amazing food and drinks and, you know, keeping me nice and fed. So in that segment, the love of my life is going to be sharing with us what? What are you going to be sharing with us every week?
So what we're doing is every week we're going to have a main dish with a theme, which we'll make up.
Absolutely, family.
What it is. And then we will have a non-alcoholic drink for the first half. And in the second half, we will be doing an alcoholic adult version of said drink. So
yes, so that's why, family, you want to become one of our amazing patrons and subscribe. We are going to be starting at $3, family. So if you believe that our content is worth your time, worth your sponsorship, please, again, check us out on Patreon. Follow us, share us, and like us. Part of the bonus content, babe, what is they going to get as part of the bonus content? We were taping some of those earlier, so let's give them a little bit of a taste. When they up their level on Patreon, they'll be getting additional bonus materials from us via our Discord. What will they be getting, family?
We'll give you a behind-the-scenes look at the preparation of all the food, and as well as the drinks.
Oh, absolutely. And recipes, right?
Yes, and recipes.
So please, and think about sponsoring us at the entry level of $3 family. But after that, our $5 and $10 subscription are going to give you more bonus and exclusive content. And it's going to be a great time, family. We are having a life adventure. And I got to tell you, this coyote works out a ridiculous amount, but I can't get rid of this belly. And it's mostly because of your food, babe. Like, seriously. The third segment for our amazing new podcast family. And again, if you are tuning in for the first time, the name of our show is Family
Eating,
Drinking, and
smoking.
smoking with Dre and Neil, family. Follow us on Patreon. The third segment that you'll be getting is a Dish of the Week, Critical Discussions. So every week, family, along with our amazing guest, we are going to be tackling an issue that affects all of our communities, that's important, that's poignant in the moment, that needs to be discussed. And we'll have 3 to 4 guiding questions, and we'll be trying to transform the world with, over food, over drink, with family and friends. And that's going to be the Dish of the Week, family. And at the end, just desserts. We always are going to end our show, family, with something sweets. And that's going to be our weekly guest interview. So tonight, family, I'm about to introduce you to our amazing new guest. Drum roll in a few moments. But what you'll get with that information, family, is this coyote has made it my mission to go around the world calling people brother, calling people sister, calling people sibling, and creating a global family. Because I firmly believe that the way we transform this world is by creating those connections and fighting for the survival and ability for all of our communities to thrive. So I go around and I'm going to introduce you to my global family, whom I view as superheroes. So during those interviews, family, we're going to learn more about who they are, what they do, and get their opinions on how we can transform this world. Because of course, family, this is not only educational, entertainment, but these are also critical discussions that are going to inspire future generations of leaders. So let's go ahead and get started with Whet Your Appetite. So family, I am Dre Beta, coyote walking in this world, real life Esleto Pueblo superhero. And this is my wonderful partner and love of my life. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, babe?
Neil, aka Chef Neil. I like good food and good discussion.
Absolutely. And we met, oh my gosh, family, in 1999?
Mm-hmm.
19, I know.
It's not
99. And then family, this coyote cannot wait to introduce you to my new amazing brother. As a month and a half ago, we're going to talk about our story, family. But this coyote firmly believes I am always exactly in the right place at the right time, and I was meant to meet my brother, Matt. His hashtag is #MusicGeek, and he tonight is going to be our main episode guest. Don't forget, family, to subscribe and sponsor us. The bonus material tonight is going to be my amazing sister, Leah Nashuan. Her hashtag is #scholarship seeker, and she is an educational psychologist, major specialist, family, a former Fulbright scholar here at the University of New Mexico, who is currently changing the world through literacy and innovation in Indonesia. Now, family, before we get to Matt, real quick, the theme for tonight, because it's been on a lot of people's minds, because this is a moment in time, a moment in history that changes everything. The theme for this evening is Rip, Roe, R. Wade. Now, dear brother, Matt John, oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming tonight. We have been feasting. I apologize, family. We were actually scheduled to start taping at 7 o'clock, and now it's like, 9:48. So thank you again, Matt, for your patience, for your inspiration, for helping us with this brainchild. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, thank you all for inviting me. I am a music geek. I am a community volunteer. I'm a gig worker. who's done a lot of industrial work, but as I am middle-aged and getting older, I don't think industrial jobs have enough safety involved. And I'm a experimental musician and somewhat of an anarchist about music, meaning that people who don't consider themselves musical, if they love music, then I think those people are musical in some way. So it's good to either use your voice or your, rhythm or whatever. You could probably find something. Play a kazoo.
Absolutely, family. And I see my brother Matt here as a superhero. He is an activist. We actually met through serendipitously. I was invited to be a guest on that Saturday show, Albuquerque. Please, again, check out their YouTube channel, family. It is hosted by the Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice, which is an amazing 40-year plus history nonprofit here in Albuquerque. They do amazing work. So please check out their YouTube channel as well as their website, family. Donations absolutely welcome. This coyote has made, along with the love of my life, a pledge of baked goods for 40 to 50 people every single week, family, to help support the Peace Cafe, which happens every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you are so inclined, family, come on down, visit us. We're right there. It's on Harvard. If you know where the Frontier restaurant is, it's literally go 1 block south and 1 block west, and you'll find us right there. There's a beautiful mural in the front. I believe it's I'm gonna get this wrong.
Oh, the front is
front
Leonard
mural.
Peltier.
The front is Leonard
And
Peltier,
the
on the side.
back is End Police Murder of People of Color, particularly Breonna Taylor. And I wasn't as familiar with the other victim, but anyway, that's what's on the back.
Absolutely, family. So again, that is Thursday. If you come around 10 o'clock, you can help us with food prep. The amazing community leaders who are in charge of that are Dar and Josh. Again, visit the website for the Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice. Or you can also direct message, email, call, or contact this coyote. My amazing sis Jules, next weekend, family, it's a Greek theme. So she's coming over on Wednesday and we're going to make baklava. So again, with these times changing, with it feels like the end of the world, even though it's sprinkled with some hope, right, babe? We always have hope. We show our love through feeding our family and participating in this free community meal. Donations absolutely welcome, family. So when you come and visit the Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice, you can come in the back door or the front door, especially during the Peace Cafe. There are signs, you can literally walk in, and there's going to be a big box there, and it's clear, and you can put your donations in there, and we would greatly appreciate that. Some of the other amazing work is they have chair yoga on Wednesdays at 1:30, and I want to say the Saturday is a chair and mat yoga, and I want to say that's at 1 o'clock.
Mat yoga, actually, I think.
Mat yoga.
With the same instructor, Elizabeth, I think, Carlisle. And I think she's great. And it's good for people of all ages, including our elders for sure. She knows how to help you do it.
Absolutely. And so, come by for the free community meal. Donations welcome on Thursdays from 10 to 3, as well as check out the amazing chair yoga on Wednesdays, the mat yoga on Saturdays, as well as, family, if you know anyone who is food insecure, they also have grocery distribution at 9 a.m. on Saturdays. So literally this is it's an Albuquerque institution that feeds our family, that provides support. Literally, we have these amazing youth interns. Shout out to Susie and Matthew, the amazing staff currently at the Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice, who make sure everything keeps going. Thank you so much to the amazing board. But literally, family, this
Tom
is
Dent.
And Tom Dent. Oh my gosh, Tom Dent, who is the one who inspired this coyote to get involved. Yeah. Without Tom, I literally wouldn't have known about it. Tom, thank you, brother. You are amazing. We give you a shout out. Also, healing prayers to you and best wishes for your swift recovery. We really appreciate everything you do. And again, thank you again to the board, President Kenneth, and everyone else. I apologize for not being able to name everyone that we really should give credit to and the amazing work they do.
I wanted to shout out Molly Wilkie, who more or less organizes the food distro. Been going for years. Way to go, Molly and her husband Cliff.
Absolutely. And babe, didn't we talk about getting involved on Saturdays?
Oh yes, for distribution.
Yes.
Molly's great. You'll have a good time. I'm thinking of doing it too, so we can meet up.
Oh, absolutely. There you go, family. How are we going to change the world? You bring your family with you and you volunteer and you show up,
people.
right? You feed people. You
people food, and you feed their minds too.
Feed their hearts, feed their minds, feed their bellies.
And their hearts, yes.
Once we start taking care of each other, once we start taking care of community members, that's how we get the work done, family. I'm sorry, Bae. I'm a chatter. Would you like to introduce anything? Give shout outs? Or, well, basically, we're talking a lot about PAJ. And full disclosure, family, this coyote is an activist, a ninth-year doctoral candidate at the University of New Mexico. But all of that is sponsored by this magnificent next to me. I couldn't do any of this activism work. I couldn't do any volunteer work. I couldn't do any research or study or anything without him being a full-time engineer and paying the bills, let's be honest. So thank you, babe. I love you. Which is why he doesn't have all this insider information on the PAJ, because he's working, family. Providing and making sure the bills are paid. But we're gonna get more into some amazing details about our amazing brother, Matt John. Hashtag, what was your hashtag again, brother?
Music Geek.
Music Geek.
There's
Sorry.
another thing I didn't throw in there. I'm a nonpartisan campaign worker, and I've done some of them in person, but I've also volunteered on remotely for Nina Turner for Congress and for Alexandra Hunt for Congress, and currently for Enrique Cardiel for state representative.
Nice. I can't wait so we could talk a little bit more in detail. Right now, family, we're going to go ahead and get into our next segment. Give me a chance, family. There you go, love. This is your segment.
Okay, so first dish was dish of the week is the Taco Supreme Court. And it's a corn tortilla griddled with either hamburger with garlic and onions or calabasitas for the vegetarian option, topped with shredded cheese, Gouda and cheddar this time, tomatoes, salsa, sour cream, green onions, and then a blend of spinach and cabbage.
Ooh, and I can tell you, family, guaranteed that it was delicious. What do you say, brother? How was your Taco Supreme Court this evening?
I loved it. It really was absolutely excellent, and I really needed it. It's been too long since I had good tacos.
Nice.
Oh, shout out to Sister Bar downtown for you vegetarians. They have potato tacos, and they're really low cost, and they're pretty friendly there.
We gotta check that out.
Okay.
Yeah, the love of my life have us as a hashtag Power Indigenous Couple Family. We have a date night every Friday night. So that sounds like a good place to go check out.
You don't have date night every Friday night. Well, this is your date night.
Oh my gosh, family. Okay, up until this week, we used to have date night on Fridays. Oh, babe, we're gonna have to switch it up. Now it's gonna be Saturday date night.
Yeah. There's stuff happening. I think Albuquerque is pretty good for music and culture and arts and all that, including radical ones.
Oh yeah,
we got it going on.
Gotta love Albuquerque.
Totally.
What about the non-alcoholic drink of the week, babe? What is that?
So yes, it is a strawberry lemonade, where we muddle together some sliced strawberries with sugar and fresh grown mint leaf. And,
ooh, fresh grown mint. And where did that come from?
From the plant outside that's growing.
Yes.
And basically it's muddled together with lemon juice and then watered down, mixed with water for delicious lemonade. So check out the bonus content to see how those are made.
Oh, absolutely, family. And the bonus content is going to be super awesome. We actually did 2 different shots this evening when we're doing prep. So we did a slow-mo take of the entire process of preparing dinner and the drinks, family. Actually, did we get the drinks in the slow-mo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
we got
they're off.
There's literally a slow motion video of the entire night's preparation for the main dish and for the drinks for today, family. And the bonus content is his instructional videos. And I gotta say, he makes it so easy. He's literally gonna be telling you step by step on how to make these delicious meals for yourself. So I'm saying, family, if you like what you're seeing tonight, what you're hearing tonight, then please follow us on Patreon, share it with your friends, share it for your family. We are on a mission to transform this world. And we're gonna do it together. And how does it taste so far? What do you guys think? How did you enjoy your strawberry lemonade?
I thought it was awesome. I love strawberries. We are getting into that month of July when, you know, I love to have strawberries, watermelon, pineapple, all that good stuff. Maybe even cook some on the grill. That's an experiment. I don't know anything about making food, but I like to do crap like that in the summer.
Oh, grilling fruits, family. Oh, it's one of my favorite things. Okay, to be fair, I just eat, right? So I'm like, babe, can we have grilled peaches? And he's like, yeah, are you gonna prep them? And then I'm like, oh, you're not gonna make them for me? And then I cave, family, because I'm a fatty coyote sometimes. And I will wash and I will chop all those peaches as long as I get to eat the deliciousness afterwards.
You know what's the worst fruit name, I think? Grapefruit. Because grape is already a fruit, and I think grapefruit's a terrible name.
Honestly, I never really thought about that.
No, it's not a good one. It's confusing, you know. Linguistics are better when they're like concise or something.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bay. And just to remind you, family, that was the brand new segment, Excellent Eats and Drinks with Neil, #Chef Neil. And Bay, I have been, this is my doctoral whiteness, critical race, indigenous based project. And we've been doing vlogging. You've been part of my videos and photos and documenting my life for the last 2.5 years almost now. How do you feel about all of this process? Like, are you doing pretty good? How are you doing with our life being so public?
I'm okay. I stay offline. So
He stays offline. He stays out of it. And let's be honest, family, that actually might be a pretty good advice for everyone, layman's and otherwise. But thank you again, family, for joining us on this adventure. We're gonna go ahead and get into our second segment. Babe, what is our second segment?
We will be discussing the dish of the week, which is R.I.P. Roe v. Wade, the recent Supreme Court decision.
Oh, and this has definitely been on a lot of people's minds, family. And just so that we know, again, this is a educational podcast that is meant to bring up critical discussion for us to inspire change in the world. And I am going to give you some background information from Wikipedia. So as an academic, family, let me just say, please vet your sources. Wikipedia is not an academic source, right? People can go and edit Wikipedia. So as I tell my students, and I've been a professor in academia for 10 years, and again, it's a decolonial construct, family. Please see my vlog on why I claim the title professor. But what I'm going to read to you now, family, is to give you some general information about the court case itself and not meant to be the academic source, right? So we're giving you background information. Actually, Bay, you want to go ahead and take this over? Give us the background information on Roe v. Wade.
Okay. So in 1973, a landmark decision of the United States Supreme Court in which the court ruled that the Constitution of the United States generally protects the liberty to choose to have an abortion. So up until that point, it was kind of up to states. A lot the places was illegal. This basically said that states could not prevent women from obtaining an abortion. And I believe the initial thing was, our initial ruling was states could not prevent a woman from getting an abortion in the first trimester. And after, I think it was amended in the 90s to where states could impose restrictions on later term abortions, and slowly those rights have been eroding over the years. There's been a concerted effort to chip away at Roe, and with the eventual successful attempt to overturn it.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, babe, for giving us that introduction to Roe versus Wade, which is going to be the topic for discussion today, family. And I think that this is an important issue that's going to be changing the landscape of our society. So let's take a look at our first discussion question tonight. What does the Supreme Court decision mean? Not to put anyone on the spot, but who wants to go ahead and get us started on this question? What do you think this Supreme Court decision mean? And there have been a lot of debates that have been going on, family, throughout the United States, talking about how this case not only has ramifications for women's rights, abortion rights, rights to choose what is going on with our own bodies, but also how it's going to affect other civil rights issues within the United States. So again, question, family, for those of us who are gathered tonight for this segment, what do you guys think about that? What does this Supreme Court decision mean for our society?
I'll start. I guess basically the decision kind of removes the federal government protections that were in place up until then, and puts all the decision making back to the states, to allow the states to make whatever restrictions they want. And in some cases, certain states, they already have laws on the books to prevent all forms of abortion. Others, they make it extremely strict to, and like I mentioned before, they've been eroding abortion rights. So in certain states, there's only one or a small amount of abortion clinics in the entire state. So they've effectively made it impossible to get one up to this point. This just kind of puts that all, removes any any doubt on that, and it's going to affect a lot of people. However, this is not true for every state. There are other states, New Mexico is one, where any previous laws that outlawed abortion have been repealed, and I don't think anything's going to change in New Mexico, as well as other states. So
that's a good point, family. Those are great points. And again, family, this is a educational and also entertainment value podcast. We are here, we're doing a daily an active activism, family. This podcast sharing our viewpoints. And again, just the disclaimer, we are here representing our own viewpoints, right? We are human beings who are sharing our opinions, hoping to inspire others to make change in this world. What about you, brother? What do you think? What are the ramifications of the Supreme Court decision?
Thank you, sibling. It's going to be really rough on a lot of pregnant people of low income and those who don't have coverage, or even the ones that do have coverage. Obviously, they're if they're not ready for parenthood or ready for a pregnancy, a lot of people will flock to New Mexico. So we'll need to build an activist community. I want to shout out for a documentary that I saw recently. It was shown by the PSL, Party for Socialism and Liberation, And that is the group that has, from what I've seen, organized the majority of the local rallies to support abortion rights. So shout out to the PSL. By no means are they a perfect activist group that I know very intimately, but I'm definitely down with where they're at. And there's going to be a lot of people who need help. And what they showed a documentary on a Chicago group that was women led, and they were called the Janes because even though it was legal in Illinois, I think it was outlawed in other states like Indiana until '73. And so activists started helping women, but they would have to say, ask for Jane as a pseudonym. And so their group became known as the Jane Collective. And they were regular activists who actually learned to perform abortions. So they did the whole thing to help the people that were flocking from out of state. And that's what, unfortunately, New Mexico will have to do.
We are going to once again become a safe haven family for women's protective rights. And this Coyote family, so I am Drea Beta, Coyote walking in this world, real life Asleta Pueblo superhero, proud two-spirit indigenous warrior, which means that I have two gender identities. I have a male self and a female self. Tonight, female Dre is out in control and running the show, but I do have a male self. So tonight I will be talking from the female perspective on what Roe versus Wade and these decisions, again, these are political agendas. You need to rethink about how history has literally used the policies to institute social control over its populations. Once again, as a critical race whiteness intersectional scholar, I have always learned the value of learning from our history. And we are a Protestant nation, family. The United States is an empire, and we are built on the values of Protestantism. So when we're talking about Roe versus Wade, and we're talking about the control of women's bodies and protective rights, what we are talking about also is taking one religion's ideologies on what women and how women should be controlled, and using that as a wide paintbrush to affect the millions of women that are part of the United States, right? Part of the society. And how much, how really unfair that is. I'm not Protestant, I am not Christian, and we have this, well, let's be honest, it's a fairy tale, right? Of Puritans coming over and fleeing religious persecution to come to the United States in search of freedom, right? But let's be honest, we're using a religious construct and ideology to control women's bodies, to control women's rights on making decisions of their own over their own lives. This Coyote is proud to be a 41-year-old real life superhero, right? I am Drea Beta, real life is not a public superhero. But in my personal experience, in the community organizing work I've done, in the advocacy work I've done, in the experience I've had as an undergraduate student, as a graduate student, abortion is a fact of life. And I will never be the first person to judge or make someone's life more difficult because of a decision that they made, because I am not that person. I have had their harsh realities, family. As an intersectional scholar, I always tell my students, and I've taught in academia for over 10 years, 6 years at Brookline College School of Nursing. Thank goodness, I love you guys. Shout out and love to my nursing family. And I'm always telling them that we have to use a superpower of empathy. So when you're looking at Roe versus Wade, and you're looking at what is happening, this is a violence. This is a violent act where the US government is punishing and limiting my rights as a female gendered person in this society. I have less rights and control over my productive body than say Neil. And the classic example that I've used in my sociology classes and multicultural communication classes, in my social work classes, has always been, we are a gendered and racialized and class society. And you can see that in our laws. under patriarchy, white supremacy and patriarchy influence and rule our societies. So when they pass a law under our insurance, guess what? If the love of my life decided that he wants to get coverage for Viagra as a male under capitalism and male patriarchy, white supremacy in America, it's covered under insurance. It's legally covered in insurance. Now, I, as a female gendered person in the United States society, if I want birth control, say I work at Hobby Lobby, my employer under our so-called freedom of religion society now says that they have the right to refuse my healthcare coverage for that because of their religious beliefs. So again, these are religious constructs and ideologies that are punishing me. And I say punish, family, because that has a negative effect on my quality of life. Because my job has made a decision on their personal religious beliefs, right, as a so-called equal opportunity employer, but has decided to withhold birth control coverage from my health care. Now I am limited in the decisions that I have to make, right, as a female. Because now I have to make, not me personally, as a coyote, I talk about privilege and inherited privilege. And as a Native American person, I am thankfully covered under the Pueblo Vizsla healthcare system. But let's talk about the average American who's in this situation. Now they have to make the decisions about groceries versus affording birth control. And at one point, family, I called Planned Parenthood to get an estimate for a friend who wanted to get birth control. And it was near $100 for them to get seen and treated without having insurance in this country. And we know that's astronomical. So I am again saying, as a non-Christian, non-Protestant person who is in the United States, but as a citizen, why are my personal livelihood, my life expectancy, my own health choices being dictated by a religion that is not my own in a country that professes to have religious freedom? Because that ends up, there's medical issues, there's a whole bunch, we can keep going, family. But I'm just saying, let's really problematize this and figure out why a dominant religion can control all of our lives in a place that claims to be non-religious, because that is a contradiction. All right, family, I kind of, let's go ahead and go to the second question in this amazing discussion. And our second guiding question this evening, family, is how are people reacting? And I think that this kind of depends on, again, we live in the technological age. So depending on what your news outlets are tuned into, depending on, what your social media, the last thing you Googled, which is a conversation we had earlier, you're really seeing, you could be in a vacuum on how people are actually reacting. Who wants to go ahead and tackle this one first?
I'll go for that. Well, I think a lot of people are reacting by finding first at least one person that they can talk to and be on the same side in their anger at the court for their ruling. And then also another way that a lot of people are reacting is joining together at rallies and getting some helpful guidance on the issue, which I think comes from places like PSL and the film that they showed us. So that's kind of in my firsthand experience how they're reacting, and it's a start. And also it helps even the drivers that are driving by. They could hear like little bits of stuff, maybe not that much on Lomas, but anyway, yeah, it helps kind of get some solidarity and some education to people on the fact that it's private. It's a woman's private issue. It's a woman's body. And so right to privacy, right to one's own body.
Absolutely. So we're reflecting on how people are reacting, family. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I want to say that the a lot of political leaders are using this as an opportunity to not really address it, but mainly to use it to try to get people to give money to their campaign.
Good point.
They're using it as a fundraising opportunity, and it's mainly just to get money for re-elections, and they're not offering any like concrete plan of what can we do for to help women who to have access to reproductive care.
So much of that fear mongering has marked like what the last 10 years, 12 years of campaigning.
Yeah. Don't you think it's ironic that people still donate based on these solicitations from members of Congress who are the top most powerful ones in the Democratic Party and have been there for 30 or 40 years? Dianne Feinstein is completely out of her mind, gone, man. And these people will send these letters as if the thing to do to help reproductive rights is to give money to the most corrupt members of Congress, because mind you, I've never seen a member of Congress that gets less corrupt as they get older.
That's a great point. Hold on, family. This is called the smoke break. You guys were saying very important things real quick. And so I don't want the interference to dissuade from the important points that are going on.
Anybody have a lighter within reach by any chance? I don't have one, but I'm good. I'm going to smoke more of this wax.
Excuse us, family. Again, don't forget, family, if you are tuning in right now, this is the very first episode, a historic episode, and we are eating, drinking, and smoking with Dre and Neil.
Drink water, always. I don't see
Smoke
your
weed
water.
a day. Oh, my water's on the floor.
Oh, good.
So family, I am Drea Beta. I'm a real life Islamic poet superhero on a mission from my ancestors to transform this world. This is my medical marijuana. This is Terminator 2. Rest in peace, Terminator 1. He accidentally crashed and burned. This is butane hash oil, which is my medication.
I was smoking a little Zach's cake, I think, or something like that. Have you heard of that? That's a hybrid, but
That's what you're smoking tonight?
Well, I was smoking the wax, which was a indica.
Yes, family. Again, better. I'm a survivor of trauma 3 times over. Rape and molestation as ramification of Indian boarding schools as a child. Police brutality in 2008, where I got upgraded from anxiety, depression to full-on PTSD. As well as 2018, where I took out a white male academic predator that was, and I was a witness in a sexual harassment suit, family, and became the warrior activist I am today. But how do I be super? Medical marijuana allows me to go a long way, right? I make videos. This is part of my doctoral project. I have 23,000 followers on 7 social media platforms, 8 now, family, with Patreon. But yeah, let's decriminalize and rehumanize. Just saying, family, just saying. Also, be very careful with your, butane torches, your lighters.
This is crazy.
Have your silicone mats. I'm just saying, family, please be safe. Please do not endanger your life or others.
But didn't we look like cannabis outlaws with these butane torches?
Cannabis outlaws. That should be our late night podcast segment.
Oh my God,
Cannabis
that's
outlaws.
good.
You gotta write the damn thing.
That's one of my favorite kind of music, outlaw country, like Steve Earle, Willie Nelson.
Word.
Willie's a total stoner, and Steve Earle is great.
Thank you, family, for allowing my smoke break. So we are going back to our theme of the evening, family. Again, if you are just joining us, this coyote is going to be president of the United States or emperor, of the Americas, depending on the dystopian future. By the time I'm 64, he gives me so much shit about that every time I say it.
Because I say don't believe in presidents.
Well, that's only if democracy survives, family. I was telling him, he's like, can't
I
you?
picture you as more like a shaman. You're already a coyote. That's not a president.
Well, I am a spiritual leader. Don't forget, family, in my spare time and my spare time, I am also former pastor in an effort to decolonize, family. Now just call me Coyote of Coyote's Lodge, House to Spirituality, Critical Race Theory, Medical Marijuana. And just to give you background, if you didn't know, two spirited individuals throughout history, right, which means I have a male self and female self, have always been community leaders, spiritual leaders, right? I take care of the people around me, the community. My brother and I were having a debate / discussion this afternoon about whether or not, we can talk about this a little bit later, whether or not protest would really change the world, right? And I said, I cannot fully endorse protest. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but we'll get to your segment. Yes, remind us to come back, family. But the point of that was to say that I spend my time and investment in the people in front of me, fixing the community issues that I see that I can do something about each moment of that day. So I'm just saying, yeah, I am a spiritual leader. We have to heal our minds, our bodies, and our spirits, and have the sense of balance, right? And as Indigenous people, family, we always have a connection to the land. So how do we go back to the land? This coyote is a real life Atlanta Pope superhero. My love of my life hails from?
I'm from Glacier Park, Montana.
From the what nation?
It's a Blackfeet country.
Blackfeet Nation, family. And again, that matters, right? Our identity matters. We're always going back and forth because we have been affected by colonization on how do we create in a modern society, especially with COVID affecting us, a humanizing and positive identity formation, right? As Native people. Back to our show, family. Dish of the week, RIP Roe versus Wade. So we're talking about how people are reacting. I just want to go back to the love of my life's comment about the money train, right? Mm. Because that is, I got emails already in my inbox being like, can you please pitch in $5? And I'm like, Democrats, no, you cannot have my $5 because I don't believe you're going to do shit to actually protect or bring back protections for Roe versus Wade.
And you know that without even having to watch these appearances from Joe Biden or Kamala Harris because you already know. You don't need to see them fumble through these excruciating moments with Dana Bash and the other press people, which it's a trigger. There's a lot of us that are pissed off by all the presidents and all the shit that's gone on, especially since the insurrection or whatever. But yeah, it's
sorry, I just blew that in your face. My bad. What do you think, babe? I mean, it was your point at the same time. I think I'm a little like angry about this, but
yeah, well, yeah, it is pretty much we're just looking to raise money for the next election, and that's they say you're going to do stuff. Just elect more people, elect more Democrats, and then we'll be able to
probably need something. I don't have anything that's a cloth. There you go.
Yeah, we're good, family. Babe, can you go get me a dish towel real quick? But you can talk as you're walking.
Do you want any of these?
No, I'm good. Sorry, family. We had to clean up in aisle 1. Unfortunately, lost my strawberry lemonade. Rip Roe v. Wade and strawberry lemonade.
Strawberries.
Thank you,
strawberries.
But what were you saying?
It's the same game that it's been going on where you have there'll never be enough Democrats elected. Oh, if we just elect a few more Democrats, then we'll be able to implement our agenda. And so you elect a few more, and guess what? Nope, sorry. Look, we got everything, but you know what? This one, conservative senator from a red state, he doesn't want to pass our plan, or he doesn't want our budget.
It's always a couple more thousand, right?
Yes.
They're always going to solve all of our issues, family, if you just give the Democratic Party $5. I'm a little
Mhm.
tired of falling for that trick. I think we all kind of are.
Well, what of course is going to save reproductive rights is a bunch more people like Al Franken, comedians that are really wealthy that entered the Senate, the U.S. Senate. And
Wait, you say that's going to save us?
I'm being sarcastic. Franken was a Saturday Night Live guy. Are you
Yeah.
familiar? Yeah, and you know, I had his book. It was like Lies and the Lying Liars That Tell Them, and all this anti-Republican stuff. But you know, now I realize or I've come to think that it's more a class war where both of the two parties are on one side, whereas
Yeah.
all the independent parties are not aligned with the global elite in any way. They may be aligned with bad shit, like Nazism or whatever, but you know.
Yeah, neo-Nazis.
Hopefully there's not that many in the US, but I think it's
talking
getting
Nazis again.
But yeah, well, I think it's getting worse across the globe. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the rise
yeah,
of white
very-
supremacy.
yeah, all over.
The rise of
All over.
fascism and nationalism. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. All right, family. Any last comments before we go to the third guiding question for this evening? All right, family. Let's see our third guiding question for this evening, which is, what do we do now? Right? So we've been talking about what this Supreme Court decision means. We've been talking a little bit about how people are reacting. Let me think. I guess I apologize, family. I forgot to give my reaction. I'll be honest. My love of my life and I had fucking COVID last week. So I've been under a rock and didn't actually realize, my apologies, family, smoking. Don't forget, family, when partaking of your medical marijuana, when you're smoking, that's a good thing and you know your medicine's working. Just saying. And don't forget, family, this is Eating, Drinking, and Smoking with Dre and Neil. This is our brand new podcast, family, on Patreon. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you become one of our amazing patrons, not only are you going to get the free podcast, but you'll also get the bonus material, which will include the video, include amazing chef meals, how to create your own amazing, delicious masterpieces at home, as well as recipes to go along with it. You'll also be getting a second bonus and exclusive episode that we will have a second guest for, family. So I'm just saying, stay around and it's a great time. And don't forget to follow us on Patreon. So the next question, family, going back to the last question real quick. Yay for editing. I have an amazing, brilliant nephew. Also, shout out to my nephew. We're talking about how people are reacting. So my amazing brother and I this morning had a discussion about the efficacy of protesting, right? In Albuquerque, New Mexico, with the love of my life and my brother Matt here, we all live, reside, and create community action and make it happen. There were protests at the Civic Plaza. People had gathered. I literally said I cannot endorse, as an academic, a public figure, a hashtag influencer, and tell people with a clear conscience that protesting is going to solve our problems. I can't say that, because I'm a critical race theorist, father of critical race theory. Derek Bell literally has a paper on entrance convergence and talks about the shaming of U.S. democracy through the lens of communism, right? During the Cold War, post-World War II, there were media influences that shamed the United States. Look what you're doing to your Black and brown people. Look what you're doing to your trans people. Depending on the era, we have been shamed for being this glorious, democratic, touting, freedom touting society. And communist states, socialist states, other societies have criticized us because they're like, look at your racism.
Yeah, the U.S. has pioneered racism.
Right. Well, I would say that the British Empire pioneered racism, and we granddaddied after that, right? We learned.
Well said.
We learned how to weaponize it, take it to the next level, I guess is what I would say. But when we're looking at what they're saying now, and people are marching in the streets, I'm asking us, and yes, I still believe in the power of protest. I, as an individual person, have used protest and gone to Old Town, beat my drum, ticket $69 in person, and gone to UNM, beat my drum, did media interviews, and got banned by a $27 million nonprofit institution because I was that threatening to them, because I was shaming them and saying that they were putting profits before people. And protest as a revolutionary activist tool can be powerful. But I'm saying the in mass, small person, and even the larger scale protests, the United States government and individual cities, counties, and states will weaponize and throw police forces at us in a way that threatens our lives, destroys our communities, and can and will silence our voices. Even during COVID, they threw militaries, they threw police at us. So I'm asking us at the cost of our lives, and yes, people will say it's worth it. But at the end of the day, does that console that individual family who lost a loved one? And is it going to give the actual societal change we think is going to happen? Right? When those people die, the laws might be changed for a year, 4 years. And then because of our political system that is classed and raced and based on white supremacy and slavery and colonization, in an instant, like the Supreme Court decision for Roe versus Wade, it can undo all of our civil rights. So I'm just saying, like, how effective are these protests for Roe versus Wade? And do we think that's going to be leading us into our next segment, which is what we do next? But what do you guys think about that? Do you think the protests that have been going on around the country are going to really change this, or is this just more reactionariness?
Well, I don't know, my cynical opinion is that anyone in power who actually can change policy, who can pass legislation, or who can, change their court decisions, it's going to have zero effect on them. They probably don't even realize the protest. It just hampers, like,
because their role in the machinery of the elite is to maintain status quo.
Yeah, so, like as soon as the decision got leaked, people started protesting at Supreme Court justices' houses, and Congress responded by giving more money to the police, create more laws to go after protesters.
Congress is sick.
Yeah.
And so, with defund the police movements everywhere, family, that is counterproductive by the Democrats who promised to save us somehow with just your $5 donation. So again, how can we think more critically about this? How can we actually be and lead the change we need in our communities? What were you going to say, Brother Matt?
Oh, I don't know, actually. I'm pretty good.
But again, family, right now this is Eating, Drinking, and Smoking with Dre and Neil. This is a brand new inaugural episode of our brand new podcast on Patreon, family. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and consider becoming one of our patrons. Starting just at $3, you can support the amazing work we're doing here to showcase activism, to interview the amazing people from our communities and global family who are showcasing and doing the change. So right now we're talking about Roe versus Wade. So we're going to go ahead and get into the third discussion question for this segment, family, tonight, which is literally what's next? What do we do next, family? How do we save this? Okay, well, actually, you know what, family? I wanted to just give one side note, and you guys know, family, I'm a storyteller, I'm an academic, I'm a researcher, and I'm a vlogger. But at the end of the day, I roundabout tell stories. So real quick, this law case, this legal case, right, has other ramifications for other civil rights issues. So before we go to the what's next, family, I want to just touch on that, right? This has other ramifications for identity issues, for marriage issues. What do you guys think about that? Besides reproductive and women's rights issues of our own bodies, as well as health issues, as well as the idea that there's a ridiculous one religious ideology construct controlling all of the citizens. What other legal ways is going to be affecting us?
Yeah, well, my understanding is that Roe v. Wade was based off of the idea that, people have individual privacy, that the government can't, infringe upon that. And that, I guess, legal framework has been used to legalize same-sex marriage, to allow contraception, to even allow interracial marriage. And now apparently those are all up in question. Like they're in, I believe it was Justice Thomas when he, in his, when he wrote in his opinion that the court should go after same-sex marriage. They should go after, sodomy laws that got overturned. They should, they should, go after the right to contraception. And so, yeah, there are lots of civil rights that we take for granted that are suddenly could be in jeopardy.
And so instead of conserving the status quo that had happened over the course of the 20th century when there was some progress, or in 21st century, they're conservative in the sense that they're wanting to conserve a status quo from before that. Regressive.
But think about the ramifications of that, family. Same-sex marriage, interracial marriage, the civil rights. We're having to rehash every single civil rights issue all over again and having to fight those battles for our children. I'll be honest, I have a lot of nieces and nephews that are looking to us for answers, and I'm as baffled as they are. And honestly, what does that mean for our entanglement of society, right? We have the influence of media, we have our own spheres of when you look at your Facebook, when you look at your media sources, when you're getting your information, we're polarized in the United States. So what is that going to mean now that we have to rehash every civil rights issue? Can we even call ourselves a land of the free? Are we even a democracy, right? I always debate with my students to say, no, we're an oligarchy family.
Oligarchy, that's the word.
Yeah, we're ruled by the few, ruled by the 1%. But yeah, I think I am more sleepless at night because I'm worried about my individual friends who are facing job insecurity and housing insecurity, mental health issues, with COVID, and with us counting all of our pennies, right? The rise of gas prices. So for a lot of people, don't forget, family, if they are not freaking out over Roe versus Wade, chances are they're worrying about their bills. They're worrying about food on the table. They're worrying about making ends meet at the end of the day. So don't forget, this is your daily reminder that if everything is not okay, family, it is not you. It is COVID, it is white supremacy, it's ramifications of slavery and colonization. So please be kind to yourself and to others. So yeah, I've seen all kinds of reactions. Going back to our earlier prompt, I have seen people who, like myself, when we had COVID last week, I found out 3 days after the court decision that it had happened. But yeah, this is going to be something that's going to be affecting us for decades and a really long time to come. Does anyone have any more comments on the ramifications or other ways that this decision is going to affect our lives before we move on to what's next?
I do. I feel that the global elite that control both parties are just so greedy and inhumane that one of their great advantages of this abortion decision is having us in a left and right clash while the elite continue to make money off of disaster capitalism and stuff, like COVID, disaster capitalism, hurricanes, disaster capitalism, every other natural disaster and climate disaster that gets worse and worse every single year. This is disaster capitalism. That was coined by author Naomi Klein.
Yeah, I mean, in general, like, abortion will not go away. It'll just be driven underground and it'll just be made less safe. And so
there'll be like a bubbling tension that's even worse maybe than over that issue. I mean, there's this incredible tension and rage now that the decision has been overturned. And it's like, kind of like, I don't know. I just feel that like culture wars and like the aggression that people have politically against our fellow Americans is certainly to the advantage of their financial pillaging.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I try not to be against conservatives and all that crap, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's hard for me
there's
because I'm far left.
interesting point. I think that if you look at states, that are outlawing or have outlawed abortion, a lot of people in the state support that, and
Support the outlawing of abortion.
support. There are that, and I don't know that I think that's something to to deal with.
Yeah. So Americans, why do so many people support that? I mean, it kind of. I mean, we have the obvious, right? For religious reasons, the idea that every life is precious, and no one. Just to clarify, family, no one is saying that let's go kill babies. That is not what abortion is about. What abortion is doing is it's allowing a female person who is female body to make a decision about their life, be it medical, be it financial, be it psychological. There is a religious rhetoric, right? And this comes back from the idea that religion needs people to convert. You need to go make more of this, whatever their religion is, but also that idea that we're forcing women and restricting their own rights to choose and make decisions of themselves en masse that is hurtful and harmful for them, right? Based on the idea like every life is precious. And it is. But I go back to, would you like to adopt the thousands of children that are in our system that are not taken care of, or that are in foster care, or that are in situations of need? Because I love the idea that every life is precious, but reality tells us that as an American society, we continuously throw life away, and we do not value. We care, and what I get from these people who are sometimes religiously pushing their agendas, and they say, I'm going to force you to have this baby. What I'm getting is that I care until it's born, but then after that, those same people are in the voting booth and talking about the criminalizations of welfare queens, which was a myth, right? And talking about how there's just these bad people who are gaming the system, this, that, or the other. When 2 seconds ago, they're the same people who are forcing them to have that child and put them in that situation that could have ramifications on their life. Yeah.
And the pressure that
human, be human.
Yeah, to not have access to abortion, and then they're going to start messing with birth control. Young people are under all this pressure to have kids. I think they're going to, partly because they want soldiers and they want wage slaves, and it's a thing that people need to think hard before they subject a newborn infant into this world where there's no nurturing messages coming from the U.S. society, in my opinion, on what life is for or what can make it good. There's just I don't know. That's how I feel about the U.S. It's
Real
bleak.
quick.
I feel bleak. Yes.
Bleak, sprinkle with hope, family.
Yes, sprinkle
Always
hope.
having some hope.
That sounds like a lyric. Sprinkle.
Real quick, family.
Money
quick
for
smoke
dope.
break.
Sprinkle with
May,
hope.
I think you
Money
need to
for
get you
dope.
some caffeine. Okay, family, we are on to the last question of the evening, which is what is next? So what do you guys think? What's next? We already debated a little bit of protesting.
Legal help for all the women that are going to be prosecuted. That's going to be a big part of it.
Yeah, donate to
I forgot about that.
local, abortion access funds, people on the ground who are actually,
Absolutely.
involved with community.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of charlatans out there, raising money for that. So
Any you want to call out? Because I haven't gotten far enough to know.
yeah, I don't know. All I know is there's whenever something happens, there's people who come out and try to scam you. So,
And I do know that there is a very, very legit community of serious activists back in the early 70s in Chicago that called themselves the Janes. Sorry to repeat that, but I was impressed. And when I think what is next, these are some of our elders that do know the answer to these questions. So we need to talk to those people that have that knowledge, especially women, because this is a women's issue.
Absolutely, family. Those are amazing suggestions, as well as our global family. Don't forget to put your input. If you would like to drop comments, this is our first inaugural episode for eating, drinking, and smoking with Dre and Neil family. Follow us on Patreon. We are talking about the Roe versus Wade case. Tonight's theme is RIP, Roe versus Wade. And we're talking about what's next, right? How do we change the situation? How do we have those sprinkles of hope that we were just talking about earlier? And this coyote's advice would be educate yourself. Educate yourself on the issue. Going back to the Love of My Life's comment earlier on why we have abortion protection laws in the first place is because women were dying because they were forced to go to people who were not trained medically, right? Hangers, that is not a stereotype.
No, I was going to say that's a
fact.
powerful symbol. And I bought a pin from this group, Napalm Death, because they shout out in between songs, because their lyrics are indecipherable. They shout out women's reproductive rights. And I bought the pin with the coat hanger. And they shout out First Nations, and they shout out anti-fascism and all that stuff. So that's why I got really into them.
Thank you. I mean, that's great information. And there are organizations, like we said, and activist groups, right? That is a musical band who's literally doing their part to change the world by sharing their message.
I think it's a powerful symbol. That's what my point was. Yeah, the coat hanger thing.
Absolutely. And again, going back to history, coat hangers were used as, instead of medical instruments, to literally remove the fetus from the female's body. And women were dying in droves, family. And it was a genocide of shame, right? We took a religious construct, shame these women to go underground because we were not protecting them, because we were not allowing them to get medical access for these medical procedures. They were dying. So we do not want to return, right, in the age of modernity, as a quote unquote, right, a leading society and global leader. Why are we going backwards in time and reforcing women to go back into back alley abortions, right? We are once again in the state of New Mexico, Albuquerque, shout out. I am Drea Beta, Coyote walking this world, real life, Son of Papa superhero. And New Mexico is a haven state, family. We're going to have people who are going to be driving here from Arizona and Texas and Oklahoma. Our facilities that are underfunded are going to be flooded because America's landscape is becoming a nightmare. We are starting to re-persecute our own people again with 70-year-old civil rights arguments. So I'm saying, family, the superpower of education is how we're going to change the world. Because once you have educated yourself in these issues, you as a person can make your decision on how you're going to make a difference, right? Is it volunteering? Is it helping with campaigns? Is it supporting your local Planned Parenthood? Is it, running for office? Run for a local office, family. Let's think outside the box and create third, fourth, fifth party systems, right? Let's divide the vote. Let's change the laws and take money out of politics. Yes. Let's take down Citizens United. That was a Supreme Court ruling that said corporations were equal to people, right? If they can take Roe versus Wade and take our reproductive protections from us, then why can we not roll back these dehumanizing capitalist rulings as well? So family, before we finish this main dish, does anyone have any more comments or final thoughts for our topic for this evening, which is RIP Roe v. Wade? No?
No.
We're good? Well, that was easy for this Coyote family. We are again. This is the very, very first episode for our brand new amazing podcast, which is going to be featured on Patreon, family, for the very first time. This is Ink Eating, Drinking, and Smoking with Dre and Neil. And we just finished up Dish of the Week and had an amazing critical discussion and sharing our opinions. Again, this is an educational podcast, but it's also entertainment, family. So please take everything with a grain of salt. These are, again, our personal and in some cases professional opinions, but welcome. And don't forget to follow us and sponsor us on Patreon. The next segment, family, is the highlight of our evening. It is also our final segment. This is Just Desserts weekly guest interview. And tonight, family, we have been joined by my amazing brother, Matt John, #MusicGeek. He is a musician, #experimental, #musicianal anarchist. He also is a gig worker, a community volunteer activist, a nonpartisan campaign worker. And he and I actually met about a month and a half ago when this coyote was a guest on That Saturday Show, Albuquerque. Woohoo! Don't forget, family, That Saturday Show, Albuquerque is hosted by the Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice, which is a 40-plus year nonprofit here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They have not only this wonderful resource, the amazing host, Tom Dent. Shout out, brother Tom. Thank you for all the work that you do. The amazing work of the Peace and Justice Center. But also follow them on YouTube, family. That is, again, at That Saturday Show, Albuquerque ABQ. Matt, why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of information? So who are you? What do you do? What makes you tick?
I'm Matt John, and the reason I say gig worker is because I've done a lot of industrial work, but I'm looking to get into other things like campaign work. You're not supposed to be up here, Zeus.
Oh, sorry, family.
This cat's very photogenic, by the way. I think you should grab him and show him off on the camera, in my opinion.
If you would like to, that's okay. It's like the one time the
pick him
cat
up.
is allowed on the couch.
During the thing? Okay, sorry. I was trying to enforce the rule, but he's really photogenic, adorable cat. But so yeah, that's why I said gig worker, because I do so many. I try different things, but I get really frustrated because it's a rough, system that is very frustrating to a lot of us. And so I'm trying to move on, instead of doing industrial work, to do remote work for campaigns. But most of what I've done so far on the campaigns is volunteer. But I have had some, paid campaign jobs, and I've done canvassing, but remote is a little more appealing, not only because of the virus, but because the political climate is more hostile with these people on the Supreme Court that are extremists, the extreme court. And anyway, but yeah, I think it's for me, I want to keep doing activist stuff, but it does get stressful to be kind of, joining protests, I think it's kind of dangerous. So it's not something that I usually do every time, especially if there's going to be any counter protest or thugs or any of that stuff.
And tell me more about your nonpartisan campaign work.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I'm nonpartisan and proudly nonpartisan, but this campaign that I'm volunteering for right now, Enrique Cardiel, is actually the first independent that I can think of. I worked on a lot of Democratic campaigns, of course, progressive ones. Alexandra Hunt and Nina Turner. And local Eric Griegos several years ago. And now I'm just really glad to be supporting Enrique for state representative, representing the international district. So area centered around San Mateo, and I think including the definitely the state fairgrounds and a much larger area. And so if you're in that area, we certainly hope that you'll vote for Enrique for state representative. But even if you're not in that area, when you read his platform, you'll want to donate perhaps. So if you just type in Enrique Cardiel, I think it may just be enriquefornm.com. I'm very new on the campaign, so I'm still figuring it out.
No worries, family. We will definitely drop that information for you in the post. And don't forget for the bonus content to subscribe and sponsor us on Patreon. Brother, I want you to give our amazing audience a little bit more information about what you do for That Saturday show. I think that I was really impressed with the segment when I was there about a month and a half ago. I was a guest on That Saturday show, Albuquerque Family, talking about all of the activism work, the community organizing, my doctoral work, and how I change the world every single day as a person with a disability, showcasing what is possible. But I was really impressed about what you do and how you contribute to the show. Can you tell our amazing global family more about that work?
Thanks, I appreciate that. Well, I decided to start volunteering, and I joined them in January, and I didn't have technical experience with video recording. I've done a lot of photos, and I record on my phone. So I started recruiting all the musical guests because I've been going to open mics weekly and meeting more and more people, and it's a really good scene right now. There's a lot of people writing original songs. They're very inspired by global events, and there are a lot of people that I've met that write some good protest songs, and so it's been really, really fun to recruit all these really cool musicians to have them come on the show, and I got to interview them and things like that.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for that amazing work. We actually regularly haunt the Peace Cafe family.
Yes.
Don't forget to sponsor the Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice. They have Peace Cafe, which is a free community meal every Thursday from 10 to 3. It is a 40-year plus history nonprofit. It's
I don't think
an institution.
they actually have the food ready until like noon, maybe.
Yes, come early. From 10 to noon, we're helping prepare the meals, literally cooking, setting up, whatnot with the tables. But as Matt said here, food's ready around 12. This coyote is always slightly running on reservation time, family / Indian time. So I'm always a little bit late. I and the love of my life have pledged a weekly pledge of baked goods for 40 to 60 people. I've been alternating with my chocolate chip cookies.
They're so good.
13 minutes, family. That's the key right there. Baking them for 13 minutes. They fall apart and they're like, they're great.
Serotonin.
But don't forget, that's how we change the communities. We volunteer with our time. If we're so privileged and we have class privilege and a little bit extra income, donating money, or like we do, the baked goods, right? I've gotten it down, family. I literally can bake cookies by myself or with help. Shout out to my sis Jules, who's coming over this Wednesday, family. Next week, the theme is Greek, and we'll be doing baklava. Baklava and cookies.
Yeah.
Shout out to...
Oh, Jules, I was just echoing what you said.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Josh and Dar and Susie and Matthew and Tom and the president, the board, all of the France, Julia, oh my gosh, all the amazing volunteers, Frank. Whew, we're gonna have to write a list, family, for real. We'll drop it sometime. we'll create a list. But don't forget to join to check out the website, family. That community literally makes a difference in individual people's lives every single day. All right, brother, thank you so much. We're gonna go ahead, and before we go to the grand event for the evening, family, our brother's gonna perform 2 songs for us. Before we do that, I wanted to go ahead and give you a moment to give shout outs, thank yous, anything you wanted to promote, or your message to our amazing global family.
Thank you, sibling. Okay, well, I've already explained Enrique Cardiel for New Mexico House of Representatives, and I want to shout out the Ancora Bakery Cafe, which is a sober cafe. They were not able to function on regular hours, but every Sunday at Copper and Quincy is this awesome sober open mic hosted by Clint, and with coffee and pastries and entrees from Eddie, I think. And so that is every Sunday at noon at Copper and Quincy in Albuquerque, in Burque, I should say. And they're affiliated with Perfectly Imperfect Recovery Clinic. So it is a sober event, and it's really cool. A great repertoire of music. I'd have to say it's mostly older musicians, but the young one, the guy behind the counter is young, and young people are welcome.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, brother.
Thank
So
you.
family, we are honored to have our musical guest this evening, my amazing brother, Matt John. He's going to go ahead and perform 2 songs for us this evening. Brother, why don't you go ahead and then tell us a little bit about the first song, give us some background, and then you have the floor.
Awesome, sibling. Thank you. This is by maybe my favorite songwriter, a Texas outlaw country songwriter, Townes Van Zandt. Most of his stuff was in the 70s, although he did keep going into the 90s. And he was very influential. And so anyway, he wrote a lot of sad songs. He would tell these great little jokes in between. So, and that's a great combination, to be able to be funny and dive into those bleak topics and everything. So let me get a little swig and then I'll sing this song. And just be warned, it's a sad one about a homeless couple.
We have been warned. And don't forget again, family, this is Eating, Drinking, and Smoking with Dre and Neil. This is our very first episode, family, for our podcast for Patreon. And we are here with our very special guest and brother, Matt John.
Thank you. And also this is related to the discussion we had, is like what comes next. And this is a good example of what happens when people don't have access to what they need, healthcare. Stood in line and I left my name. Took about 6 hours or so. Man just grinned like it was all a game. Said he'd let me know. Put in my time to the Pocono line, shut down 2 years ago. I was staying at the Mission till I met Marie. Now I can't stay there no more. Fell across town, say he's looking for a man to move some old cars around. Maybe me and Marie can find a burned out van, do a little settling down. Oh, but I'm just dreaming, I ain't got no ride, and the junkyard's a pretty good ways. The job's about a half week old, besides, be gone now anyways. Unemployment says I got no more checks, showed me to the hall. Brother died in Georgia some time ago, got no one left to call. Summer wasn't bad below the bridge, a little short on food, that's all. Now I gotta get Marie some kind of coat, headed down into fall. Used to play the mouth harp pretty good, used to hustle up a little dough. But I got drunk and I woke up rolled a couple of months ago. They got my harp and they got my dollar, then we'll laugh so-and-sos. Harps cost money and I ain't got it, it's my own fault I suppose. All the Pocono's down, but the Chesapeake's running 2 freights every day. If it was just me, I'd be headed south. Marie can't catch no train. Well, she got some pain and she thinks it's a baby. Says we gotta wait and see. In my heart I know it's a little boy. Hope he don't end up like me. Well, the man still grinning, said he lost my file. I gotta stand in line again. I wanna kill him, but I just say no. Had enough of that line, my friend. Heading back to the bridge, it's getting kinda cold, feeling too down low to lie. Guess I'll just have to tell Marie the truth. Hope she don't break down and cry. Marie, she didn't wake up this morning. She didn't even try. Just rolled over and went to heaven. Little boy safe inside. Laid in the sun where somebody find him. headed Chesapeake on the fly. Well, Marie, you know I'm headed south, so's to meet you by and by. Well, Marie, you'll know I'm headed south, so's to meet you by and by.
Yay!
Thanks very much, y'all.
Thank you so much. That was amazing, family. And song, it feeds our soul, right? Music, it speaks to us in a certain way. And literally, it sparks revolutions. What does the second selection have for us this evening, brother?
All right, I think this is, they're both old songs. Actually, I don't know what decade Marie was from, but this one is back to the about early 70s, maybe 1970. It's by Graham Nash of Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young. And before that, he was in the Hollies. And he was an immigrant from England. And so I'm going to sing Immigration Man. So let's try to do this. Whoops. I'm trying to scoot that over there. Okay. I'll do it there finally.
Sorry, family. It is a late night for us.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, so you ready? All right. This is Immigration Man. At the immigration scene, couldn't see, smiling and feeling clean. Could it be a sin? I got stopped by the immigration man. Says he doesn't know if he can let me in. Let me in. Immigration man, I won't toe your line today. I can't see it anyway. Let me in. Immigration man, toe your line today. I can't see it anyway. There he was, with his immigration face, giving me a paper chase. But the sun was coming, it's all at once. He looked into my space and stamped a number over my face. And he sent me running, let me in. Immigration man, can I cross the line and pray? I can't stay another day. Let me in. Immigration man, I won't toe your line today. I can't see it anyway. Here I am with my immigration form. It's big enough to keep me warm. When a cold wind's coming, just go where you will. As long as you think you can. Better watch out for the man. Anywhere you're going, let me in. Immigration man, can I cross the line and pray? Take your fingers from the tray, let me in. Imitation man, I won't toe your line today. I can't see it anyway.
Woo!
Thanks, Phil.
Yes, that was amazing. Thank you so much, brother.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
You
both.
rock. This has been a wonderful experience. We appreciate you being our very first guest.
Thank you. I appreciate it too.
I'm so happy now, family. For those of you who are just joining us, this is the very first inaugural episode of Eating, Drinking, and Smoking with Dre and Neil. We are your powerhouse Indigenous couple here, family, here to change the world, take it over. And we are here with my amazing brother, Matt John, who has been sharing his mind, his brilliance, his work, and his music with us. Thank you again so much. Don't forget, family, to follow us, share us, like us, and don't forget to sponsor us on Patreon. Bae, how would you like to say goodbye to our amazing global family?
Keep the love.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Brother, thank you again so
Yeah.
much. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you all. And I want to tell everyone to become the media.
Absolutely. The media. Take over the world, family, right? We are going to do this together. One interaction, one day, one plot for humanizing change at a time. Again, family, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and of course, think of sponsoring us on Patreon. Again, this was Eating, Drinking, and Smoking with Dre and Neil. Follow us on social media. Right now, it's at Dre Abeta. My hashtag family is Coyote Walking. I'm a two-spirited Indigenous warrior, a real-life Asada Pueblo superhero, on a mission for my ancestors to change the world. Currently on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Clubhouse, and now on Patreon. So again, thank you again so much. Depending on your level of subscription, again, the bonus and material, the exclusive material that you will be getting as sponsors, as our literal patrons, family, are going to be including the love of my life's amazing recipes, the instructional how-to videos for the dish of the week, and for the hashtag for adults only, the exclusive families, the adult beverage, the non-alcoholic beverage, and the dish of the week. In addition, family, forthcoming in the future, an additional content will be a 30-minute Zoom with myself and the love of my life after the taping of our exclusive every week, family. And don't forget to join us. This will be happening every Friday. This is our everyday active activism. We appreciate you. We love you. And everyone, please have a great evening.